Hi, my kindergarten friends. It's Miss Liz from the New Lenox Public Library, and I'm here today to talk to you about some amazing books that you might want to read now that it's October. And the reason I say that is October is Halloween time, and that's a great time to read spooky and scary books, Halloween books, silly Halloween books. I hope that some of the books that I tell you about you will want to read too. And all of the books that I talk about today are available for checkout at the New Lenox Public Library. And I hope that this brief book talk about spooky, scary, and funny, not so scary Halloween books will inspire you to come into the library and find a great book for yourself. Our first book is Pete the Cat. Who loves Pete the Cat? I love Pete the Cat. And this is a cool version of the Halloween song, The Five Little Pumpkins. So it always starts out as 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. And let me just show you. The pictures are wonderful and bright. There we go. Next, I have Dino Halloween. If you are fascinated by dinosaurs, this book is for you. Just make sure that you look at the faces of each of the dinosaurs because they show their expressions. They're scared, they're perplexed, they're happy. This might be a good story for those of you that are a little bit scared of spooky things because you will see that the dinosaurs, they go into a haunted house. Some of them are scared, some of them are not. And at the end of the story, you learn that the dinosaurs who stayed inside the haunted house were brave because they knew it was all pretend. All right, next, There Was an Old Monster. This is a fun and goofy little read about a monster who apparently will eat anything until he finds something that will eat him instead. It's a monster version of The Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly. So you know that story, there was an old lady who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. Well, this one, I'll just read the first couple pages. It goes like this. There was an old monster who swallowed a tick. I don't know why he swallowed a tick, 'cause it made him sick. Next, that old monster, he swallowed some ants. He took a big chance when he swallowed those ants. Look at all the little ants. So I will let you come in and check this book out and find out what wants to eat Big Monster. Next I have Froggy Picks a Pumpkin. The Froggy books are some of my favorites. And I hope some of you have had someone read a Froggy book to you just because they're so great. In this story, Froggy can't wait for the field trip to the pumpkin patch. And he imagines the delicious pumpkin pie he will bake from his pumpkin. And he dreams about the jack-o'-lanterns lighting up the Halloween sky. When Froggy finds out that there is a pumpkin picking contest, he is super excited and determined to pick the best pumpkin. Prizes for the contest go to the biggest, the smallest, and the ugliest pumpkin. Will Froggy win a prize? He might, but his pumpkin picking doesn't go quite as planned. So come grab this one and find out what happens. This is Skeleton Hiccups. This is a funny story about a skeleton who wakes up in the morning with the hiccups. He tries everything to get rid of them. Some of the things that he tried were he took a shower, he brushed his teeth, he played with a ghost, he ate some sugar, he even drank some water upside down. None of that worked. Finally, his friend the ghost came up with a plan. You have to read this book and find out exactly what Ghost did to stop Skeleton's hiccups. All right, the next one I have is Monster Needs a Costume. I really like this book. The main character is a monster who can't decide what to wear for Halloween. So it kind of reminds me of kids your age where you go from one activity to the next and you never have enough playtime and you're always changing your mind. Well, these pictures in here are fantastic and they show a monster trying out several different costumes. He finally chooses a unique costume, which is put together using all the parts of the costumes that he tried out. So he takes little bits and pieces from each costume and makes one awesome costume. You'll have to see. Let me show you a couple. Let's see. Here it is. This one is where he is dressing up as an astronaut. This one down here is a firefighter. And this one is kind of weird. A Bartlett pear. Would you dress up as a pear for Halloween? I wouldn't. Next, I've got Cliffords Halloween. And this is a story about Clifford the big red dog. It's perfect for those of you who are learning how to read. It's nice and easy to read. And the story begins as Emily Elizabeth. This is Emily Elizabeth right here. She talks about it being a holiday and that Halloween is her favorite holiday. Then she talks about other holidays and how Clifford likes to dress up as Santa for Christmas, and for Easter he dresses up as an Easter bunny. Emily Elizabeth even tells about how on April Fool's Day nobody plays tricks on Clifford and Clifford does not play tricks on anybody else. But you will have to read this story to find out why. Anyway, this fun Halloween book tells you about how Clifford is the hit of the party when he shows up as a giant ghost. And let me show you what he looks like. There he is. And I'm sure all the kids at the party knew exactly who that was. Next I have Happy Trolloween. Oh my goodness, I love the trolls. Do you like the trolls? Do you love the trolls? Anyway, this is a cute Halloween story about Poppy and Branch, along with their Bergen friends, King Gristle and Brigette. They're having a good time when they learn about all the things that go bump in the dark forest. It's not too scary, and you will laugh when you find out what Brigette is scared of the most. Here's another great one for you. This is Goodnight Goon, a petrifying parody. And this book is very similar to Goodnight Moon. Do you remember Goodnight Moon? Maybe someone read that to you when you were a little bit younger. And it goes like this. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. Does that sound familiar? Well, in this one, a young monster says goodnight to all the other monsters in his room. And it goes a little bit like this. In the cold gray tomb, there was a gravestone and a black lagoon. And a picture of Martians taking over the moon. There were 3 little mummies rubbing their tummies. So that's just a little sneak peek. And make sure you grab this one. I think you're really going to like it. Next up, I have Super Monsters, Monster Mash, a Halloween story. And these are preschoolers with superpowers. They are humans by day and monsters at night. And when the sun goes down at Pitchfork Pine School, the kids transform into their super monster selves, ready for a fun night. But Halloween is in trouble in their town. And it takes teamwork, superpower, and the super monsters to save Halloween. Aren't they cute? It's hard to believe that they're monsters. Just Say Boo. I really like this rhyming story. The story asks silly questions that rhyme, and the answer is always boo. I'm going to read you a couple of these too, just because it's so fun. the ghosts in the trees wibble wobble your knees, what do you say? Do you remember? Boo! If a yip and a yowl make you shiver and scowl, what do you say? Boo! I think this story shows that Halloween isn't scary and that it's super fun to yell boo and try to startle someone. I always used to do that to my kids. Actually, sometimes I still do, and sometimes I even try to scare my dog. Boo la la witch spa. If you love witches and you love Halloween and you love going to the spa, maybe getting your toes done and your fingernails, then you will love this book. This is the story of an overworked witch that pampers herself after Halloween at a spa designed just for witches. There's another skeleton story. This is Skeleton Meets the Mummy. And this story is fun and exciting and a little scary, but not too scary. You'll have to find out for yourself. So the illustrations in here are bright and colorful, and it starts out like a Little Red Riding Hood, except the skeleton is taking soup through the woods to grandmother's house. So Sammy the skeleton, that's his name, and he's just super excited. Halloween is coming, trick-or-treating. However, he really can't go do any of that stuff until he brings his grandmother the soup for her cold bones. You know, skeleton, bones. Do you get it? Anyway, it's a cold, windy, and dark night as he travels through the woods. He comes across a lot of scary things, like a bat and a tree that looks like a monster. But when he meets the scariest thing of all, a mummy, it turns out to be his best friend. So I think you'll love this one. All right, skeleton for dinner. Who's ready for dinner? This is a story about a big witch who said to the little witch, "We must have skeleton for dinner." Skeleton overheard her say that, and he wondered, what does that mean? Well, he wasn't sticking around to find out, so he took off. And so begins the story of a silly, spooky chase all through the forest, with the creepy creatures all getting involved. Read the story to find out who will save skeleton and who will save dinner. Well, that's all I've got for you today, and I hope that you'll enjoy some of these books and come in and check them out at the library. If you need help, we're there to help you find them, and happy reading!